Hi, this is Jay Giroux, affectionately known as Cousin Jay, and this is an Anderson 1939 production. Today we talk about Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow made his first appearance in the G.I. Joe comic books number 21. He was a Cobra operative hired as a mercenary. His arch enemy, as we all know, G.I. Joe fans, is Snake Eyes. We'll go a little bit into the history of the backstory of Storm Shadow, but what we want to introduce today is the evolution of Storm Shadow, starting with the 25th anniversary edition of Storm Shadow in his original outfit.
Now all we need is a little energon and a lot of it.
Now Storm Shadow, when you look at this original 25th anniversary edition form, it's a beautiful sculpt. They did an outstanding job with his detail, and the character stands out to you and comes to life. You look at his additional weapon accessories, and they did a beautiful, beautiful job with him. Solidly impressed. This edition of Storm Shadow is the operative that actually worked for G.I. Joe. Again, as we said previously, he was a mercenary. He was originally hired by Cobra, but he came in, he stepped in, he worked with G.I. Joe for a little bit, and this was the garb that he wore when he was with G.I. Joe. Again, you take a look at the detail of this figure. Again, beautiful sculpt, beautiful paint and detail, and his weapons and accessories. A little bit limited as opposed to the previous Storm Shadow, but tight nonetheless. Love the touch with the bow and arrow.
Go.
This is the Paris Pursuit version of Storm Shadow from the G.I. Joe movie Rise of Cobra. Nice sculpt, tight work, a little different from the original Storm Shadow where his garb appeared to be made out of cloth. This Storm Shadow stepped up his game and he laying it out in leather. Accessories are pretty tight, especially his katanas, signature weapons, beautiful sculpts. Again, this Storm Shadow is unmasked, and for the first time really revealing what Storm Shadow would look like in this particular incarnation. And the last character in our lineup today of our review is going to be Storm Shadow in his full attire. Again, he's got on the leather kicks. Outfit is looking really tight as far as detail is concerned. Accessories are really nice, again coming with his signature katana weapons. Really nice figure, really nice detail. Compared to the original Storm Shadows, this figure ranks highly, but I'm still personally more of a fan of the original Storm Shadows. Kind of going with what I know. I grew up on the 80s G.I. Joe cartoon, so I got love for the original. Up next, we're going to actually open them up and see what their posability looks like, as well as what they look like with their accessories in hand. Feature here, Kameyarasuke, ninja, member of the
Arashikage
clan. He was recruited by Cobra as a mercenary operative. He was sent to Paris to make sure that Cobra was able to execute their plan of dominance in the region.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Storm Shadow, as a Cobra operative, became one of the most deadly assassin ninjas in Cobra's arsenal, entrusted with many secret missions and a taste for vengeance. His enemy, Snake Eyes.
Go.
Storm Shadow appears here in his G.I. Joe mercenary garb, where he is holding his bow and arrow, and he has his katanas in his back sheaths. He is also holding his dagger. Beautiful pose, beautiful stance, beautiful detail. Storm Shadow, as he appeared in issue 21 of G.I. Joe, the ultimate ninja warrior. Stealth, skill, deadly assassin, entrusted with Cobra's most secret and extensive missions. Beautiful figure. Excellent detail. Very, very impressed. Boy. This is all of the Storm Shadows that we previously reviewed posed out together. An impressive set of figures. Truly they are. The detail, the articulation, they are visually nice to look at. My favorite, I would have to say, of the group, it's really a toss-up between the original Storm Shadow and the G.I. Joe Convert because of the number of accessories they have, particularly with the G.I. Joe version of Storm Shadow having the bow and arrow as a nice addition. But you can't take anything away from the original Storm Shadow. Sleek design, excellent detail. As for the two movie Storm Shadows, impressed with those figures as well. For the Storm Shadow that is unrevealed, his posability, his flexibility is really, really nice. He also comes with an additional weapon that is not currently featured in the video because myself and my director sitting next to me weren't very impressed with those weapons, so we decided to omit them. But the Storm Shadow that is wearing the traditional head garb, though he is a beautiful figure, his posability is a little more limited based on the fact that he has on the long coat. The long coat is a really, really nice detail. It feels vinyl-like plastic, but it's a really, really nice detail, but it hinders his posability. But nonetheless, if you are a collector and a G.I. Joe enthusiast, you will be thoroughly impressed with these figures, and I highly, highly suggest that you add them to your collection. So hit up the local stores before they disappear off the shelves. Next review, Anderson 1939 returns with the review of Lady Scarlet from G.I. Joe. It's been real. J. Jerome out.